Wow. I've told a few people already, I feel like I haven't seen you all in months. It just has felt like several months since I was here last. And it's like I longed for you. I don't know who I messaged last week, but I was saying I messaged someone on last Saturday and I said, I should be very excited for the service in Manhattan today. I love the church in Manhattan and I love the people, but I had just been with them on Easter, so it's 2 weeks later and I knew I was going to see them again. And Saturday I was going, how come I don't have like a perkiness about New York? And I got that I was longing for you all. And so I messaged someone and said, it's one of those Sundays where I really wish tomorrow morning I was getting up and driving to Brookline because I haven't seen you in so long. And I know that there are changes that have been occurring in the ministry. And many of those changes that I've been involved in have just involved communicating with a few people, and I've been aware that members of the community have been kind of confused. I had a few people approach me after service last time I was here and go, it feels like something's going on, like, can you tell us what's going on? And I said, well, just pray for the church, pray that it is true that all things work together for good. Just pray that that's true. Pray that even when it appears sometime that things are falling apart, that really they're coming together. You got to pray for that. You've got to not judge by the appearances of things seen, because as we all know, if you have eyes that look out upon the world, what you see is the evidence of division. You see the evidence, the living, breathing, in your face evidence of our separation, that I'm me and you're not, and that you're you and I'm not. And we come here to this church to let go of that kind of thinking, that we are separate people, unconnected to one another. We gather to take on a new mind. And later when I speak in my sermon part, the theme of that is going to be new birth. I was impacted at a deeper level, I believe, than ever at the line in one of the joy songs that we just sang, I let the change. Mm-hmm. I let the change. I let it be. That's not easy for us. It's easy for us if we have instigated the change, but not when the change has just come upon us. And I stand as a witness that changes are happening everywhere. In New York last week, before service, during service, and after service, I was informed of 3 or 4 changes, 2 which I enjoyed. I voted for those changes. The other 2 I didn't vote for. And I sat there going, wow, change is everywhere. Because a couple of weeks before that, I was at Hope Church in Amherst, the church I pastored for 20 years. And I walked in expecting to have the same experience that I'm used to at the church. And they had initiated a change. And it wasn't a change that I would have voted for if I had a vote. But I had no vote. All I could do was either let the change sweep over me or argue about it, resist it. I think a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, I told you about the song that Louise Hay used to begin her circles for healing for people who were HIV positive and who had full-blown AIDS. And she began with her song, doors closing, doors opening. Doors are closing, I am opening. I am safe. It's only change. I am safe. It's only change. So I was very impacted by that, and I just put all my heart and soul into it, that I would grow to be able to allow change to happen. I think I've said to you all before that this is what I try to practice doing in my life. I vote very strongly for what I want. and then I choose as completely as possible what I get. For instance, I prayed when my mother was ill that she would make it through the cancer and that she would live longer. I voted with everything I had, with all of my prayers, all of my affirmations, and all of my faith, that this is not Mom's time to die. 74 is way too early. She has so much to do. And then she took her last breath with me laying next to her on the bed holding her in the hospital. And when she took that last breath, my first thought was, now you have to choose what you get. You voted for her to live. She just took her last breath. You are holding her. There's no more rising and falling of her chest. She has gone home. You have to choose that now. Because if you keep voting for her not to have died, you have to be upset with somebody. You will have to be upset for God, with God, with the way it is, with life, with the very dynamic that people die. But my peace is only going to come when I choose strongly what I got. We're only unhappy when we're arguing against what is. When we're arguing against what is, we feel powerless. We feel like a cosmic mistake has been made. And I have felt that way a few times, at least a half dozen in my times. I was absolutely sure that God had messed up, that a cosmic mistake had been made, because I was absolutely sure that the way I wanted it to be was the way it was supposed to be, for the good of all parties concerned. But I let today the change. I let it wash over me. I let it be. And I know I'm safe. And you know I've been involved with this ministry for 10 years. And I've always witnessed change. It's not the same music ministry. In the 10 years, there have been 4 different music ministries. One I kind of liked. One I loved. One I had trouble with. And one I loved again. That's been my trick, just with the music, in 10 years. One I liked, one I loved, one I had big issues with, and one I love again. If there had never been a change, if there had never been a change in 10 years of this music ministry, I would still be coming here, and the music would be presented, and I would have been sitting here going, this is okay. I can deal with this. It's okay. And so had there never been a change, I would have never had the joy of this music ministry. Board members have changed. There were members who came for the first 7 years. Every single Sunday I came. And then suddenly they were gone. And I would question, where did he go? Oh, he's now at Unity on the River. He wanted a bigger place. Or she left because of so-and-so. Or he left because he doesn't really dig your sermons, Reverend. They're too intimate for him. He wants more metaphysical, intellectual offerings. He doesn't want your emotion. And I go, cool. It was awesome that we were able to share space in a spiritual community for this amount of time. Me and my ex-wife will tell you our truth, our whole truth, our nothing but the truth. We will each tell you, thank God we divorced one another. Thank God we did. Because we were clear that this was not uplifting or nourishing or in any way good for either one of us. Not because I'm a bad guy and not because she's a bad woman. It was simply a dance that clearly we recognized we came together to do a dance for a while. It was a dance called I Married My Teenage Sweetheart. I saw her at 15. I told her, I'm marrying you. I also told her, and we're gonna have a couple of kids. I never told her, and we will live happily ever after. So we did marry. I think we waited from 15 till we were 22. We had our first child at 23 and our second one at 25. 2 years later, the dance was over. We had done what God put us together to do. And those kids are awesome. And those grandkids are awesome. And Kathleen and I look at each other and we say, you know what's even more awesome than our kids and grandkids? The fact that we got away from each other. Once we did that, we were back to being friends. Back to feeling like we were 15 again. Nobody disappointing anybody. So we can look at things in the midst of change and wonder why change occurs. But I believe that in retrospect, sometime with the passing of time, we look back and we go, that was a perfect part of God's plan. A perfect part for our moving onward and upward. So please join me in embracing change. Just embracing it and trusting in God, trusting that all things work together for good to we who believe, and practice blessing everyone, all parties involved in any situation. Because in churches where you want to be like God, you want to be loved, you want to be light, there is a part of you that cannot tolerate this. There's a part of you that doesn't want change, especially in you. And I'll talk about that later. Right now we're going to deepen our 5 unity principles together. And so I would like 5 willing participants who would like to stand and give us your name and then deepen these principles. We have 2 people. We need 3 more. We have 5. In the order that you stood, please tell us your name and please give us the principle. Yes.
I'm Lori. God is absolute good, everywhere present.
Again, please look.
God is absolute good, everywhere present.
All of us together.
God is absolute good,